Hi everybody. Let's look at a breakdown of the graph analysis from the bird beak lab that is going to be due when you get back from break. Okay? So again, this is going to be due after break. Okay, so here's what I'm asking you to do. We're going to analyze this graph right here. So describe the trends. Trends are changes that occur. In the patterns in the graph below. The caption, in other words, I want you to write a paragraph about what you see happening in this data. Okay? So let's look at this. What's this axis called again? When you're looking at a graph? This is called the y-axis. The y-axis in this situation is number of birds. This information here, the different shapes, the different colors, are all different types of beaks. Here, on the x-axis, we have the generations. Okay? Let's look at one group. Let's look at the forceps group. Now remember, the forceps are the tongs. We talked about that in class. Now, it looks like all of the individuals here started off at about 15. Number of birds is about 15. Then in the first generation, it increased. The number of birds increased to about, we'll say, 28 individuals. Then it increased to about 29. Then it increased to about 30. Then it jumped. The number of individual birds with forceps beak jumped up to about, what do you think that is, 45? 45 individuals. Then it jumped up to, what is that, like maybe 62? 62 individuals. That's what you do. You describe the trends that are happening in this graph. But you also have to use these words. Okay? So let's think about this. You could say natural selection from a change in the environment resulted in the birds with forceps beaks to increase in population because they possessed an adaptation that caused them to be more fit. Okay, there's one. Now let's look at one type of beak that went extinct. Let's look at the fork beak. Okay, the fork beak is in the triangle. So again, we'll do it in green. The fork beak started off just like the other beak at 15 individuals. In generation 1, it dropped down to about, let's call that 12. In generation 2, it dropped down to 10. The number of individuals decreased to 10. In generation 3, it stayed at 10 individuals. Generation 4 dropped down to about 8. And then generation 5, the number of individuals went down to 0. So how can we interpret this? You could say birds with fork beaks, because of a change over time of the environment, there was competition, and because they were not adapted to the environment, their population decreased to the level of extinction. Okay? So I just gave you 2 examples on what to do for here. You can replay this video, take note of it, but I'd like you to interpret, if you're going to do the forceps and the fork, that's fine, but I want you to also do 2 other ones. If you're going to do tongs or forceps and fork beaks, I need you to analyze 2 other beak types. Okay? If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Thanks.